commissioner reports. I just have one. I'm going to be forming a committee to look at the governor's police reform and reinvesting collaborative. So I will be forming a committee in the next couple of weeks to get to that part of the collaborative. That's all I have.
All right, we completed water bills actually Monday because of the holiday. We had to go an extra day. I don't have any numbers yet. I'll have them for this meeting in terms of percentages. Went pretty well, I guess, pretty successfully. There was some confusion because we had 2 months last time and a shorter time period. It kind of confused some people, but we worked through that, so that wasn't a big deal. The 12th, next Thursday, here at 11 o'clock, we have the 3 properties that we voted to put up for auction at our last meeting. Will go up for sale. A couple of them, we've had people at least reach out and have some interest in them. We'll see what happens when it comes to selling them. So it'll be 11 o'clock here on the 12th, which is a week from Thursday. And the budget process has started. I know the finance department sent all the departments their budget sheets. They want it back, or she wants them back by the 17th of the month. And the hope is, and the plan is, we could have perhaps 2 budget workshops to discuss the budget with the hope of passing or voting on the budget at our December 9th regular scheduled meeting, so we won't have to have any regular, special meetings for the budget. That's the hope. Now we'll see how the whole thing progresses, but that's what we're planning to do at this time. That's all I have.
Commissioner Gotti.
The only one thing I got is I've been getting a lot of questions about First Street, why they weren't actually drilling the entire street. We hit too much rock down there, so we're going to actually lay the pipe in the sidewalk and then report the sidewalks down there, which is actually going to help a lot with straightening out some of that street. But we just didn't want to go under the utilities, the existing utilities that were there. This makes it too difficult to repair if there's future problems, so we went over it. We'll just do a little insulation and move on. The 67 project backed up a couple of days. They had a weld give out on one of the pipes, but they got that repaired and back up and running, but they hit rock right at the intersection of George Thompson, so that slowed down a little bit. Other than that, everything else is moving pretty good.
Thank you. Commissioner McGuire.
I'm still collecting for wreaths across America. Those are the wreaths that we put on the veterans' grave up at the National Cemetery. It's $15 for 1 wreath. If you get 2 wreaths, they give us 1 free. So for $30, we get 3 wreaths. So you could mail me a check made out to Wreaths Across America. I will take cash, but I really prefer check. You can mail it to me at my house, 101 2nd Ave, or you could drop it at the office, or put it in my mailbox, whatever you feel like doing. Call me up, I'll come get it. And also we're still taking orders for the memory trees. We have probably almost 30 trees spoken for already. It's $30 to $35 for 1 tree if you want to put it up yourself. If you want the fire department to put it up for you, it's $50, and it's a fundraiser for the fire department. So they get the extra $15 for putting up your tree. It's a lot easier to have them do it than you do it yourself, but if you have people to do it, then that's fine, $35. We'd like to get these all spoken for as soon as possible so that I could tell Country Living. I've ordered 60 trees, so hopefully we won't go over that. But if we do, that's fine, they'll have them for us. You can come into the office, you can pick where you want your tree. In other years, I have put your tree where I thought it was best. You know, I put people together and families together, or near your street, or looking at the monument if you're a vet, or, you know, something like that. But this year we decided we'd let you pick where you want to put your tree. So you can come in and we have a big map and you can pick your spot. So that's all I have, actually. So.
Okay. Chief Rabbit called. He's involved in an investigation. He won't be here tonight. I don't see Chief Dunn here. He's probably with Chief Rabbit. Supervisor Richardson's not here, so we will move on to public comment. I ask you to stand, identify yourself, and you have 5 minutes. Tom?
Two quick questions. On the resolution concerning the restaurants, these are basically the same ground rules as what the county did.
Yes,
So if you're not billed directly, you won't be affected.
that's correct. If you're in a mall and we send the mall the bill, you won't be affected by it.
So I think there's like 8 restaurants that'll be affected,
11.
I think. Here,
11,
11?
yeah.
Okay, so everybody except House of Pizza, okay? Because he's not billed directly.
Yeah, I know, I'm not gonna go there. I don't know, they're one of them, I know it's the only one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're billed through the pod. And the second question I had was, it looks like the shortfall on sales tax is a lot less shortfall than was anticipated, according to the Denapolis report, so we're looking at, what, maybe 5% shortfall, 6%?
I haven't heard anything from the county since the last time we met. However, I did read your article about it, and we actually get about 1.265 roughly million from the county. The shortfall if it was in the 20% range that we were projecting early on, would have been roughly $250,000 in there somewhere, 230. Last time we were told to expect between 8 and 10%. We're dealing right now with 10% just to be on the safe side. So that would be about $160,000. I haven't heard anything else from the county since then. I'm hoping that it gets, it changes a little bit. I hope. We didn't know what the August cycle was for them. We hadn't gotten those numbers from them, and they haven't provided them to us yet. So to answer your question, I don't know. Nothing's changed since the last meeting.
I think they're gonna announce their budget tomorrow, so you'll probably know a lot more.
Well, hopefully, and I'll reach out to Tom Richardson. He'll usually brings us the news, good or bad.
So actually, the sales tax revenue is 25% of the budget, not.
It's our second largest revenue item other than taxes. Our taxes are our first largest revenue item. This is the second largest revenue item in the budget.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Next. Fred?
Senior citizens building. Is there any chance of having some kind of committee or some kind of open meeting about opening this safely, intelligently, and maybe having a volunteer or a couple volunteers 3 times a week come in here and make sure everything's clean and done safely?
I actually reached
I
out
would be
to,
willing to do that.
I reached out to the town of Half Moon, and they just opened theirs October 5th. And I talked to, I think her name was Eileen there, for quite some time about what they're doing, how they're doing it. And I brought it last meeting, and I forgot to bring it this meeting. And they have a lot of things that they're trying and doing. They put marks, when you come in, you have to have your temperature taken, you have to write your name down. You have to immediately use hand sanitizer before you do anything. And then they have spots marked off so people can knit, like we could have 10 people easily knit in this room. Or they could play bingo. You'd have to set a limit. You can't just walk into the center, you have to make an appointment. So on Tuesday, if you had knitting on Friday, you'd have to call and tell them that you're coming, make an appointment, so they know exactly how many people are gonna be here, and they can keep track of how many people go in and out and how many people they want in the room at one time.
And that's something they could work?
Well, I talked to her probably, well, it was before the last meeting, so I was gonna follow up and see how things were going, if people were attending. A lot of people went elsewhere because they didn't wanna follow, they didn't wanna be bothered with all of that. So, but they had a lot of really good ideas. And I mean, we could just have people that work here come back to work. We don't need volunteers. We have people, we have thermometers all set up. We have extra masks in there.
Well, I didn't know whether it was a money issue.
No,
No, it's not.
No, has nothing to do with
Well, I
money.
mean, that's part of it, I know.
Yeah, no, because we have people who work here every day, Monday through Friday. And they could just come back to work. And, you know, we'll have a little training session, this is what you have to do. And
Okay.
I'll follow up with her and see how it's working out. They were having some problems, but it wasn't major.
And to follow up on that, I've been talking with the supervisor up there, and he's keeping me abreast of how it goes, and I'm kind of keeping an eye on it, so.
Be nice to break it out for Christmas. Okay.
Thanks, Fred. Next. Mary Lou?
Mary Cibola, 28 Lee Street. I'll start with my old standby. Are there any updates on the secretary to the chief's test?
No.
No?
They had a meeting today, which I assume you knew.
Who did?
Didn't Civil Service have a meeting today?
Oh, yeah, they did. It was very
Yeah,
interesting.
okay.
I have a video if you want it.
No, I don't.
The new financial commissioner that's on the resolution, what's the new schedule for, what's the schedule for the finance commissioner? Is it in the,
What do you mean schedule?
like, are they Monday through Friday? I didn't.
No, they're
part-time.
In the charter.
They're part-time.
part-time.
What's part-time?
They're kind of, yeah, if you have, you know, it's part-time, they have another job, they coordinate with their deputy and,
Okay, so is there like hours, a certain hours, amount of hours?
well, the office is open from 9 to
9 to 5?
4.
Okay,
So,
so it's
but
kind of like,
that's
the-
all
I'm
our,
part-time.
all our offices are open from 9 to 4.
okay, so it's like the public safety
Yeah.
office, and it's under
Yep.
the same purview of
Right.
the, is it worded the same way in the charter, do you know?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, pretty close probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except it says finance instead of public.
Does the mayor monitor the finance hours, like he does the public safety hours?
I
Probably
monitor
not.
her hours? Jeez, I didn't know that.
You know when I come and go.
Oh,
You can
that's
tell 'em it's
easy
me
to
from
find
the
out,
hallway.
they're not there that often.
I'm
Go
not,
ahead.
I'm never there.
I know.
And I
Okay.
don't come here, and I don't go to the playground, so I don't know where you're gonna find me around town.
Yeah.
Very hard to find. I know nobody sees me,
Six,
right?
a half dozen. The last city council meeting, we had some discussion about the departments, the different departments working as separate entities, and issues about lack of accountability, and, you know, certain departments, so continuity in between the departments, communication and stuff. So each department's loosely outlined in the city charter as to what your responsibilities are, correct? Okay, so with the whole change of the chart, of the, you know, the form of government that's being discussed and everything, which you indicated you weren't interested in changing from city to a town or village, you want to stick with the city. So doesn't it seem like the change of government doesn't really need to be the form of it, more of the content of our charter?
Right.
So, you know, why not just revamp the city charter to set more specific and understandable guidelines for each of the departments, leaving less to individuals' interpretation
Right.
and manipulation, things like that? Or have it some kind of oversight committee or ethics committee that when there's any issue with you guys, there's a third party that could be turned to outside of the city council, non-appointed or whatever, with the city attorney involved, whatever, something like that, so that
There
there's
should be an
somebody to
ethics
turn to when
committee.
you guys have disagreements, and can kind of bring the departments a little bit more in tune with each other.
Go ahead, I'll let you finish.
No, that's okay. Very quickly, I know last meeting I also talked about the different expenses for attorneys and things like that, so I started looking into that. Mark's been nice enough to forward me some information very quickly. The city attorney, the Honeywell Law Firm, so the contract for the Honeywell Law Firm is at like $15,000 per year,
That's a retainer,
which
that's a
covers
retainer.
5 tasks. The CSEA, PBA contract negotiations, how often does that occur?
Well, in this case, it's been 2 years in a row.
Because of the, but on the.
Generally every 3 years.
Every 3 years. Grievance process, how many grievances have been handled over the last 2 to 3 years?
Can't tell you, I don't know.
Okay, there's one arbitration.
Okay,
I'm not sure, how many arbitrations over the past 2 to 3 years, do you know?
don't know.
Okay.
By the way, that's a good thing that we're not having all this.
Well, no, it is a good thing, I'm just trying to get an idea of what we're getting for our money, that's all. Improper practice proceedings, I don't even know what that is. Have you done any of that lately, or?
Not
We
that
haven't done
I,
any improper practices, that's
And
right.
then the day-to-day. And then everything else is covered, just like any other questions and stuff you guys have is just covered by their hourly rate.
Well, if we have just questions to pick up a phone, that's covered under retainer, we don't
Okay,
get charged
what's-
by what.
Okay, that's covered under retainer.
Well, if we call up and ask a question, we don't get billed for that.
Oh, but there's separate stuff, okay. So what's the hourly rate if you call off the beaten path, you know?
Which is the contract, 160, is it?
Okay,
Something like that?
all right. Okay, because I mean, it seems like a lot of, the attorney's fees are being caught. I know back in 2008, when the PBA was involved in this complaint, there was a lot of feedback about attorney's fees. People come to the meeting complaining about attorney's fees. I don't see any of those people here now, but we seem to have a lot of attorney's fees.
They're smart, they don't want to be here during COVID. You have 1 minute.
1 minute? Okay, great. Facebook sites for the committees. I checked on the city website and I checked all through Facebook. I couldn't find any committees that had Facebook sites. Because you had indicated you thought they were on Facebook and stuff, and I noticed that you mentioned one today, which was, really good for the public to hear and stuff. Is there any outlets for people other than, the meetings, or to get a hold of, who do they get a hold of? Who do
Well,
they
they
talk to?
call any of our offices any of the time. If we're not there, they leave us a message and somebody gets back to
And
them.
the city has a website. It's
Okay, but
We have a website.
where's the website? Because I couldn't find it. On the city-
Mechanicville.com or mechanicville.ny.gov.
Mechanicville.Live.
Like the city website?
Yeah.
Oh, because I checked that before I came here to look for a committee list, and I didn't
Oh, I
find
didn't say
any
that. I said
committees.
we have a website. I didn't,
It may not be on there.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, because even if you just had like a list of committees,
Yep.
that would be helpful. And
With a link that they could email these committees.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's it. Thank you very much.
I just want to real quick,
You're asking me, can I sit down, or do you need
be
me?
my guest, yeah.
Okay.
I just want to make a comment that we have really not discussed as a council anything changing in government. I've brought it up once, but you've brought it up more than any of us, quite frankly, and I've answered your questions. And it's something that, and I know you and I had a relatively extended conversation about it. And if we ever put a committee together, and I know Saratoga went down again yesterday,
Yeah.
whatever reason, they have their different reasons, everybody has a different reason. But in any case, one of the things that a committee would do was discuss various options. I, for one, think we should have, I'm one person. I'm a proponent of government change, or type of government change. And one of the major reasons, I said this before, is we need to get younger people involved in this government, in the city, for the long-term health of the city. I believe that in my heart. And I don't think this form of government is conducive for that. And that's one of the major reasons I think we should move this thing. But again, we have a committee, they may decide this is fine. I mean, that would be the purpose of the committee, to talk about different options, as you spoke
Put it
about.
on the website.
But why do you think that changing the form of government will attract young people?
Well, I hope that would, because I think if you had a structure where you had a city council, not commissioners, they don't have to come to work, and during the day, and you pay them a couple $1,000s a year, I think you'd have more people, younger people may be interested in running for the city council and sitting on the council and, sharing ideas and that type of thing. I just think it's more conducive. Now, whether it works or not, I have no idea. But I think it would make it more attractive to someone who with a family, maybe somebody in their 30s or 40s with a family who really can't do this, to sit on the council and share their ideas, to move the city forward. I do believe that. So,
Well, you need people during the day.
no, you'd have staff to run the city. I could get
So
into-
like I have a full-time clerk,
Right.
so I really don't need to be around during the day, right?
I don't monitor your time. I don't care if you're there or not, quite frankly. I mean, well, never mind.
I mean, that's what you're saying, basically. You
No.
could have a full-time person there, and you come in when you can.
Look,
You
I have
get
a whole
couple thousand.
structure in mind. I'm not going to waste everybody's time right now, but I have a whole, in my mind, because I've been a proponent of this since 2008. I have a whole kind of a concept how I think it should operate. There'd be a consolidation of departments. You'd have someone to run 2 or 3 of the departments that exist right now. And, and you'd have someone in charge, whether it's an elected mayor, whether it's a city manager type of person, that type of thing. You'd have an administrator to run the city, and you'd need a comptroller, in my mind, / clerk, that could kind of serve both purposes, handle the accounts office, handle the finance office, do those things. But again, hopefully down the line, if we get into a more detailed discussion, we can talk about this stuff. I just think it would work better.
Thank you.
Next. Jim?
Kim Dunn, 250 South Main Street. I've got a few questions. So if the properties are not sold at auction, hopefully they will be.
Yeah.
But if they're not, what is the plan? Because they obviously, especially the two ones that are very
Yeah.
deteriorated, one on South Main and one on Saratoga Avenue, they can't leave like they are.
I agree with you.
So is there a plan B?
Not in any detail, as we're gonna have to, two of the sites would probably have to be demolished.
Right, yeah.
I know there's some, I think Schenectady, for example, I think maybe even Amsterdam, somehow received some grant money to do that type of stuff. I certainly would look, hopefully look in that direction, because it's not cheap. You get into these older houses, you run into lead, you run into asbestos, you run into all that, those
Oh,
types of
right, I
things.
totally agree, but
So
they've
that's
got-
a problem. But yes, we're gonna need to deal with them. In fact, the property is probably worth more than the house.
Oh, yeah, the land,
yeah, I
the
know.
land value.
So I mean, if we could afford it, I would have knocked these down a long time ago, two of them anyway,
Right.
and sold the property. So,
I just wanted.
no, to answer your question, no,
Okay.
but obviously we're gonna have to deal with them. We can't just let them sit there.
All right, and then I was looking for an update on the investigation. As we all know, the allegations were made at the August 12th meeting. And I was wondering where we stand with that investigation. Is there going to be something coming out at some point?
Well, the city attorney's not here tonight, so I'm not going to comment on it without her being here, but
Is it moving along? I'm not asking you
Yes.
for the details, obviously. Okay, and then I noticed on a lot of legal bills that there are multiple attorneys that are, billing the city for multiple things. I was wondering how many attorneys are handling the EEOC investigation?
One
Okay,
firm.
okay. Also.
They may have multiple people within their firm.
Right,
But
but
we're
we're
dealing
being
with one firm,
Right, but we're being billed.
from one firm.
Right, but it's still a cost, not
Oh,
including
it
the
costs,
retainer.
yeah, it costs,
Right.
not the
So
retainer, that's right.
I'm just wondering, do we have an idea of, even an approximate what that's gonna end up costing us? Same thing with the investigation into the allegations, because obviously we're being billed for those things. It's not included in the retainer.
Do I have any idea? That's how long the EEOC, how complicated it gets? No, I don't. A couple $1,000s maybe. That typically seems to be what the going rate is on things.
Okay,
I'm not sure, but I would
Right.
see that be in that range.
so there's no time frame to know how long that would possibly take
Well-
at this point.
I don't think we have any control over that.
Okay. Also, I sent a couple of emails, as you're aware, and one was on October 13th, having to do with the auction and some questions. And the Commissioner, I sent it to everybody, Commissioner McGuire was the only one that was nice enough to respond to me. I've got no responses from anyone else on the questions. I then sent an email on October 19th to you, Mark, and all I was asking for were some simple things that I didn't feel pertained to a FOIL request, because I was looking for a couple of property addresses and SBLs for the XO Tower and the train station. And I've yet to get a response, so I'm wondering, can I get a response to
Tomorrow you
that?
get a response.
That would be great.
I don't recall the emails. I'm not saying you didn't send them, but I will.
Read receipt, so,
No, I'm not suggesting you didn't send them. I will get them back to you.
all right. And then, Dennis, you had said you're forming a committee for the police department as required by the governor, what we're going to do within the next couple of weeks. I'm wondering how many residents are going to be on that committee, and how you're going to go about letting people apply or selecting people.
well, I'll select the people, and I will be looking at the next couple of weeks, and there is a guide in the book about
And what
what
is
you
your
should look at.
criteria going to be to select those people to be on this committee?
Oh, there'll be a member of the police department, there'll be definitely the city attorney, there'll be people like that on there, credible
Right, but you
people.
have to have members from the public, that's part of the requirement.
I get
So
it.
I'm asking, how would one know how you're going to select them? Is there something that,
I'm gonna just think about it and pick somebody, that's all.
so people can't apply, or just.
You can call if you're interested, you can call and leave your name, that doesn't mean you'll get on the committee. Not you, anybody.
All right, thank you.
Okay, what was the dates of those? I know the 19th you said. What was the other one?
Let's see, one I sent on 10/13 and one I sent on 10/19.
Next.
Sandy Gaudet, 104 Railroad. Last meeting, I commented about how I felt about the 9/11. No ceremony was done here, and it was said that anyone can do something. So my question is, can I be anyone? Can I get volunteers? Can I procure an area? Can I come up with a ceremony and do this on 9/11/2021
Well, I would assume, Sandy, to answer your question, because I did talk to the Elks, they're planning on picking it back up next year.
Okay, but if anyone can do something, can I do something as a citizen?
You can bring it before us, and we'll let you know when you bring it before us, see what's
Okay,
up.
so that's something I would have to come up
Yeah.
with and bring before you
Yep.
for permission? Okay, because when you had said, anyone can do something, that was, to me, I felt that was a rude response, and I
That's fine.
didn't appreciate that. And there's gonna be a Veterans Day ceremony?
Not in the city, there isn't. Well, there probably is at the Legion. I did talk to Joe Maiello, and he said they're going to do something small at the
Okay.
Legion, but he hasn't got back to me again.
And no one else is gonna do anything for that either?
It won't be in the park, no.
Okay. And how long are the 5-day continuing executive orders gonna keep happening?
Can't give you an answer on that. Could be a week, could be a month, could be a year.
Okay, so you don't know. Okay, and who owns the train station and the EXO building? Is that the city?
They're owned by the city.
Okay. Is there a current committee that is in charge of the restoration?
Tom Richardson takes care of that.
Okay. Are you aware of any fundraising for the restoration?
I am not. You'd have to talk to him about it.
Okay. Because every once in a while I see in the XO building a bunch of cars. And I don't know if these are visitors or just people checking the building out.
The Chamber of Commerce leases it, so it could be them.
Oh, okay.
And you'll also see people parking out back because they like to photograph the trains coming through.
Yeah, I see that a lot because I'm across the street. But this is every once in a while, there's like 10 cars.
Yeah, that's-
That's probably the committee. Yep.
Meeting at the chamber.
Okay, but it's nothing to do with the two buildings.
No.
Okay. Okay, that's all, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Move on to resolutions. Wait, is there anybody else? I'm sorry. Pat?
Okay.
Go ahead, come up here.
Yep.
I do. All right. Just quick, I mean, all this infrastructure going on, roads are all tore up. Who's responsible for fixing these roads? I mean, I've had, my granddaughter get a blowout on, hitting the potholes. Who's responsible? Are they gonna fix them?
It's tough to
The
get around
incident- The
town.
incident you're talking about occurred, John Pickett just milled Main Street.
I mean,
They-
Evolution took care of it, whoever it was.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. He actually just got done milling the street. We just got done raising the storm drains and some of the sewer covers. So when we put the paving down, it would meet the grade.
That's great. I mean,
That's,
the whole
well,
town-
that's where
Are they gonna, within reason, fix these roads, or are they gonna leave them cobbed up? Or what, who's responsible for fixing what they tear up?
well, I'm just waiting for you to finish, all right?
That's pretty
Decatherm,
much my question, who's gonna fix these roads?
okay, Bruno, give me a second, okay?
All right.
Decatherm's digging the roads up. Decatherm hired HMA, which is out of my control. I don't have anything to do with any of that
I'm not
reclamation.
blaming anyone.
No, hear me
I'm
out.
asking a question.
Hear me out. Just give me a chance to talk, okay? Decatherm has to work that coordination out with HMA and how they're scheduling their paving. Because I've been riding them because I'm trying to get Central Avenue actually paved and to get Main Street paved. And I had a hard time getting them to turn those streets over to me because they had them all opened up. But they went with another contractor, and all I can do is keep pushing them. But they are trying to get them closed up now. I know
So is this city
HMA.
money, or is this?
No. That's all NISAG. It's not costing us a penny.
Okay.
They're fixing their own holes. It's just that they're holding me up on the two roads that I was trying to get paved. But all those trenches that they're digging, that's NISAG. I can't stop them.
You guys plowing. If they don't fix the road.
Believe me, I know it. But on Central Avenue and Main Street, I'm making them put concrete down before we put blacktop down, so the road will maintain structure, stability moving forward. But it's their scheduling, not mine. And that's the part I've been trying to push. I've got them to get down on the bottom half of Main Street. They're supposed to be finishing up William Street as we speak. Well, not right at this moment, but today, tomorrow, they should be finishing up William Street. They're trying to get down on the other end of Francis and around the corner down behind Connors. They're almost to the other intersection, but they don't even have the pipe in the ground yet. So those parts I can't really do anything about, but he is, right now, HMA is actively, he just came down Williams, he's coming down the other end of Williams, he finished up Main Street for me. He did finish South Main Street, but I can only push him as far as he can go and to where he,
You answered a lot more than I asked, but that's fine.
well, that's basically how it's all playing out. Decatherm goes in, they dig, they put the gas lines in, they backfill. They have, what they're doing is they get X amount of footage, then they bring HMA to do it, because he's not gonna come in and do like 2 little patches here, 2 little patches there, because when he comes in, he wants to do, 50, 60 ton of blacktop at one time, get a lot of it done. And I think that's kind of the Achilles heel here, but it's getting done.
Okay, appreciate you.
But yeah, that's all, it's not costing us a penny.
It is tough to get around town.
Yeah, it does.
It is.
The steel plates are a pain in the butt also.
Getting out of hand. How many holes you gonna put in it?
Well,
And not fixing it.
to slow down on everything, with the COVID and everything, forced them to stop and slow down on a few things, but then they kept going. And they're just trying to get their whole new line done fast. They got the rest of this year and part of next year. But right now, we have some services that are low pressure and some are high. But everything is gonna be high pressure.
All right, well, thanks for your.
But yeah, it does.
Thanks, Pat.
Sorry, Pat.
Pat? Nobody? Move the resolutions.
Okay, resolution 10620, whereas the city of Mechanicville has received funding from New York State EFC Water Improvement Infrastructure Act to complete water treatment plan improvements to supply filter media for the water filters. Whereas contract documents were prepared by Barton Judas titled Contract 1A Filter Media Purchase, and the product was bid publicly in compliance with New York State procurement process, with bids due October 21st, 2020. Whereas 2 bids were received, and the lowest bid was from Anthra Filter Incorporated with a bid of $29,393.30. Whereas the city adopts the bid of Anthra Filter and awards the contract to Anthra Filter and authorizes the city to execute an agreement with Anthra Filter. Man.
Motion?
I'll make it.
Anthony, second.
I will.
Barb?
Any discussion? We're going to do that.
Discussion?
All right. Mayor Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Seaver, yes. Commissioner Gotti?
Yes.
Commissioner McGuire?
Yes.
And if anybody's curious, that's the stuff that's inside our filters that actually clean our water.
I'm coming here. Resolution 10720, whereas the Saratoga County Board of Supervisors at their October 2020 meeting passed a resolution reducing the number of billable sewer units for restaurants located in Saratoga County by 50% in an effort to lessen the financial impact of this decrease in business experience during the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas it is the desire of the Mechanicville City Council to also assist those restaurants located in the city of Mechanicville identified on the list provided to the city by the Saratoga County Sewer District by reducing their number of available units by 50%. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mechanicville City Council allow for a 50% reduction in billable sewer units for the 11 restaurants attached. This reduction is for 1 year only, and the reduction will be applied to the water sewer bill the city issues on May 1st, 2021, after which time the billable sewer units will be increased to the original number of units. The cost to the city of this reduction will be $4,080. I'll introduce. Any discussion? I will
You
introduce.
got to second it first, then you discuss.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Second?
I will.
Anthony?
Anybody?
Discussions?
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Seaver, Commissioner Gotti, Commissioner
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
Whereas the position of Commissioner of Accounts has been vacant since June 15, 2020, and whereas Keith Johnson ran for the position in November 3rd, 2020 general election and appears to have received the highest vote count, and whereas it is the desire of the Mechanicville City Council to fill the position as soon as possible, now therefore be resolved that the Mechanicville City Council hereby appoints Keith Johnson to position as City of Mechanicville Commissioner of Finance effective November 5th, 2020 until December 31st, 2020, at which time he will assume the unexpired term ending December 31st, 2021, in accordance with the result of the election.
Make the motion. Second?
Second it.
Anthony?
Any discussion?
It's Commissioner of Finance. The first line, whereas the position of Commissioner of Finance.
You can tell who wrote it. Sorry about that.
And
What's his salary?
how come his term doesn't just start now and end December 31st, 2021?
Because it doesn't work that way. When you're elected, it's for the January 1st to be the first, so we're just appointing him in the interim.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we
Yeah.
said that out
I
loud.
checked that out before we did this. Mayor Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Seaver, yes. Commissioner Gotti.
Yes.
Commissioner McGuire.
Yes.
Resolution 109, 2020, whereas the state of New York requires that all political subdivisions conduct an annual audit of their finances, whereas the city wishes to conduct such an audit of the city's financial statements in general fund, special grant fund, water fund, sewer fund, capital project funds, and fiduciary fund. And whereas the accounting firm of Cusack and Company has conducted the mandated audit for the past several years, now therefore be resolved that the City Council of the City of Mechanicville authorizes the mayor to sign an agreement with Cusack and Company, CPA, at a fee of $12,550. I'll introduce.
I'll second.
Anthony?
Any discussion? Mayor Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Seaver, yes. Commissioner Gotti?
Yes.
Commissioner McGuire?
Yes.
Resolution one, did I miss one?
Okay.
Okay, right, I did miss one. Whereas the Mechanicville City Council adopted their 2020 budget on December 15th, 2019, whereas the City Council now wishes to amend the ordinance with the following transfer of budget. Therefore, it be resolved that the 2020 budget, we wish to approve the following budget amendments. There's a couple of just transfers. I'll introduce.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mayor Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Seaver, yes. Commissioner Gotti?
Yes.
Commissioner McGuire?
Yes.
Resolution 11120, whereas payroll of general, water, sewer, and capital fund vouchers contained within payroll at $237,609.49. That's three pay periods. And with expenditures and breakdown by funds as followed, the $530,685.20. Now therefore be resolved that the said payroll and vouchers are hereby allowed in order to be paid. I'll introduce.
I'll second it.
Discussion, Mayor Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Seaver, yes. Commissioner Gotti.
Yes.
Commissioner McGuire.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay, anybody have any new business? I have one thing. I want to welcome Keith to the council and good luck, bud. Anybody else have anything?
I'm good.
Any old business? Okay, we're going to close the meeting. We're going to have an executive session meeting with our attorney, and we will not be taking any action when we come back in.
Done for negotiations.
And it's for negotiations. Thank you.